Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, man, did they just drop the 1.0.37 patch notes and update that apparently is going to be coming on the 25th here in a couple days, just out of nowhere. And what's interesting to me is that we haven't even got a dev feedback or a Q&A as of late too as well. So this is probably one of the first biggest pieces of new information that we're getting for what is coming next. We're going to dive into it, give you a full honest patch review, and let you know our thoughts. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up, because that was a lot. Thanks. Okay, let's dive in. So we know coming on the 25th, so today's 21st, we got 4 days until then. New heroes, artifacts, and war pets. Added the legendary hero Naya, or is it Naya? Cavalry PvP mobility available from Lucky Spin and Wheel of Destiny. Again, we'll keep stating this too as well. Unfortunate that it's only being added to those. It would be nice if they said something along the lines of eventually, maybe a month, 2 months down the road, it gets added in addition to the gold chest. Number 2, added the legendary hero lieh-shan, Cavalry garrison skills, available Wheel of Destiny and Strongest Lord. Again, would love to see that added to the gold chest, 1 to 2 months at minimum down the road, if not a little bit longer. However, adding new Cav, dude, is this the rise of Cavalry now? Because Cav's coming out. Maybe it's standard rotation factored in as well, but we've been seeing so much more increased Cav play since I would argue last season, especially just with content coverage and from what I've been seeing on the field. Maybe it's just because the time that I had started streaming and watching a lot more PvP, but it's nice to see that Cav's getting a little bit more love. New artifact, added new legendary artifact Lunaris, Cavalry PvP Assault, Forge of Light, Riches of the Forest. Let me see. New war pet, added the war pet Auric Warhound, Cavalry Fighter skills, available for capture in the field during Season of Strife. I mean, in the field is free. So, why don't we add more things to those such areas? New events. 2.1 holiday event, Floral. Okay, so this is like seasonal event. A new event, Escort Clash. Ooh. Okay, the Escort Clash event begins Battle for Dominance over Trade. During the event, you can choose to escort valuable cargo for the Merchants Guild, honor, or plunder others' escort carts for profit. Oh, dude, this is dope. So if it goes on at the same time, and let's say this happens during a KVK, well, doing it in Home Kingdom probably wouldn't be too ideal. This would be something where it's probably more about doing this during a KVK. However, and I only say that because in most of the times home kingdoms are going to be pretty unified. So you're not usually, unless you're doing it for practice, which may be, but you'd have to, and you could always just split an alliance in 2, 3, or 4, however many it would make sense to do this. So I guess you could still get some home kingdom fun and practice out of it, where you're kind of having to either do attacking and defending if you want to kind of treat it like this makeshift pseudo PvP style skirmish. Otherwise, if you're doing it in KVK, again, it's like, are you really going to be doing this in the FZ? And that's only if everyone is still fighting in the FZ. You're probably more likely to do this in the safety of your zone 1, especially if this is something where you can choose it being done. So I don't know, like, this sounds cool, but part of me feels like this event would be better if they did it on like the Supreme Statue Island. That's a lot bigger. And then everyone has like a route they have to follow. If you want like something, and again, maybe they make another island for it. Or maybe when this event is going on, it's like a makeshift island that pops up and then you can, go through a teleporter or something and go over there. The event itself, I think, sounds good. But I'm already, again, and I'm only talking about the plundering side of it, right? The escorting, to me, this is kind of standard escort event like we've seen in other kingdom builders where you have something that moves, you have to protect it in a PvE style where you're defending against darklings or other neutral units, and then you're trying to guide it to get it to where it needs to get from point A to B. And then if you make it there right, and let's say it's untouched or whatnot, then you get a certain amount of rewards for it, or up to the most. So yeah, I like the event on face value, but I feel like the other 50% of it on the plunder side, I don't know. I feel like maybe there needs to be a little bit more thought behind it, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Season system improvements. Ooh, okay, so we got some good ones. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty long patch note too as well. This one, Season of Strive 3 policy improvements. Added new season policy, apothecary renovation, further increasing the additional elixir capacity for enhanced medical support. Okay, I don't think anyone's mad at additional elixir cap for free healing. 3.2, it would have been nice if they said how much. 3.2, discharge feature improvement. Cooldown, adjusted when a player is discharged. Ooh, wow, here we go. The original migration cooldown is removed and replaced with a new discharge cooldown. Okay. Okay, I see. So I guess that means that it could go lower than what the previous cooldown is on it. So it's essentially overriding what the current migration time is. Okay. Oh, I guess it would have to make sense because you wouldn't want a situation where you discharge someone, but their original migration time is exceeding that of what of when they should be able to leave based on the new discharge. Okay, so yeah, I guess this makes sense. It basically just allows for them to leave sooner, i.e., when they should be able to from being discharged. Merit ranking adjustment after a player migrates, their last season's merit ranking will be based on data from their original realm before migration. Okay. I mean, this seems great. I mean, what have we been talking about forever? I've been preaching this since day one on when you've heard me talk about having these migration recruitment cards, little profile cards for the players, but also for the kings or queens, right? So when someone's applying to a kingdom, you should be able to see their current stats, and you should be able to see like their last 3 season merit points that they've accumulated. Maybe what was their interval kills, deaths, and heals. So not just totals, but looking at what the numbers were between each season. These are those types of things that the dev team can do. And I hope that they start to incorporate these on player profiles so you can just do something such as like going onto a player profile. And let me give you an example. Like, let's say I go on the leaderboard and I click on this person. I click more info. There should be something here, something below resources info that says KVK info or seasonal info. And when I click on it, it should show me like maybe have like headers here. So it's like these 3 lines or 4 or 5 lines will be 1 season. Then the next 4 or 5 lines will be the next season, right? And you can see all of their stats from the very first season they've played, right? If you click on a player profile. And it doesn't have to be a lot. We're not talking about anything overwhelming, but I think at least something like kills, deaths, heals, merits gained. I think at least those 4 things should be there, right? Maybe, yeah, I would say at least those 4 at minimum should be there. So you can see maybe if you want to throw in helps, maybe if you want to throw in like total resource assistance given, times given, maybe those. I would say those 4 to 7 things should be there. And then that way you can see that. And if you go and you click, if anyone goes and clicks on any player, I think that information should be public. But then at the same time, if you are someone who's applying to a kingdom, you should just have a nice little report card on that player, their past season, maybe their past 3 season performances. And maybe that can go a little more depth, or maybe it can be that, but just in more of a condensed area. Anyways, that's my thought on that one. Okay. But I do think that it is good that they are adding more of those things in there. Next, discharge limit adjustment. The discharge limit is now 30 with 15 discharges added every month. I think the previous discharge limit was 15 or 10, right? Something like that. Or maybe it was 15, 20. So I guess this seems like it's going up, which again, I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at the discharge limit going up. I don't know if it should be like up to 100 per se. And I only say that because, I feel like it should be something where it's being adjusted appropriately and they're taking the feedback in. Because, like I said, the idea of players being kicked from kingdoms is usually because they're inactive, or B, possibly because they're just maybe roguing it up and attacking anyone and everyone, right? Maybe they're and just kind of being a nuisance, if you will, but in a very aggressive or negatively impacting way to the kingdom as a whole. But most of the time, it is going to be because players are inactive or they're not active enough to keep up with the expectations of the kingdom and the requirements of the kingdom to where there is a form of impact that they are applying to the kingdom, not directly, but because they're either not active enough or maybe they're not meeting whatever the certain PvP requirements or conditions are of the kingdom, and along with anything else, it is better for that kingdom in the kingdom's eyes, to, especially if they're a fighting kingdom, to potentially bring in someone who is able to meet those expectations and then also allows them to lower their kingdom power, which in turn lowers their kingdom activity status so they can bring in more players, right? Or in this case, their activity points, right? Or their migration points. Okay, next. Brink of War improvements. Ooh, okay. Added search and auto peacekeeping functions for common shadow trolls. Okay, yeah. This was something they said they were going to be adding in. Listen, I'm kind of 50-50 on this. I, for one, think there is value in playing Where's Waldo on the map, where you have to go and find these things because it comes down to the players who are active. The challenge with, again, adding in a search function, or I would say one side, if you feel it's a challenge or not, is that this element kind of becomes a little more automated, where I get it. You want, you're kind of, it's like sacrificing time. It's like, what do you want? Do you want people to take time out of their day to go and look for those things, but at the same time, they're rewarded? Or do you want to make it easier for people to find these so they can start, so more points can be accumulated? And again, like an example would be maybe people didn't want to go and grind out searching for them. So some people maybe didn't participate because of the grindy element, but they could have because they had enough resources in order to do so and enough troops to go out there and fight. So I kind of see both sides of it. For me, I'd love to know what you think on this. Updated the rules for earning realm points. That's what it was, not migration point, realm points. With rallied, oh, excuse me, this is just for Brink of War. Getting a little tricky here. Realm points with rally attacks on elite shadow trolls. Points are now calculated based on the number of participating legions in the rally rather than the number of trolls defeated. Points earned are capped. Oh, okay. So this is basically a way where if you're kind of going around and like barb chaining with people, or you have, maybe not barb chaining specifically, but if you have a group of, let's say, barb raiders, you have 5 or 10 players that are going around and doing that. Now what they're saying is, I guess it makes it seem as like you can't get the max amount of points every single time. There will be an adaptive point scale based on how easy it maybe is to destroy, or how fast they might be destroyed as in the trolls are defeated. Optimized the quest rules for Brink of War. Instead of earning points by defeating specific types of shadow trolls, points are now earned based on the total CP spent defeating any type of shadow troll. Okay. Specific types, points are earned based on total CP spent defeating. Okay. So, I see. So it's more universal, I guess, in this case. I guess that means what? They can't like hard optimize in a sense, or take advantage of maybe going after a particular troll in it. Again, I haven't done the shadow troll stuff itself, so if that's the case or not, but this seems as though if this is just universal, I don't know why I'll be honest, I don't know why that wouldn't have been the case already. I'm not sure why you would give different point allocations to different types of shadow trolls, unless it was based on difficulty level. Then okay, I could maybe understand that. But this doesn't indicate in the ending line here any kind of difficulties. It just says types. So, okay, I guess I kind of see that if they just want to have that system be a universal amount of CP spent. Slightly increased the rewards for defeating shadow trolls in phase 1. Okay, nice. Improved the migration rules during Brink of War. During this period, migration in and out is not allowed. I mean, I don't know why you would allow it during Brink of War anyways. I mean, listen, we know that you can migrate to any kingdom at essentially any point in time, obviously until this update hits, right? It's just that you have certain limitations. So I believe the way it works is the example is that if you migrate in after registration, then you are locked into Zone 1 in the KVK. You cannot go out of Zone 1. But if you migrate in before registration, then you can participate in the KVK beyond Zone 1, right? So you could still help in Zone 1. You just can't go beyond that if you migrate in after registration. So now it looks like they're saying that you cannot migrate in or out during Brink of War, which again, I mean, like I said, I'm somewhat, like, part of me thinks, I don't know. Part of me feels like it doesn't really matter, though, because you can already migrate in after registration anyways, right, at any point. So I don't know. This one doesn't really make a lot of sense to me then. Again, at least based on what I understand for the previous migration rules that they had announced, because you could still migrate in after registration before Brink of War starts. I don't know. Again, unless I misread something before, that's my general understanding. These adjustments will only take effect in Brink of War events triggered after the version update. Okay. 3.4. This is Season of Strife migration restriction adjustments. As there may be large differences in power between realms playing Season of Strife for the first time and realms that have played multiple times, restrictions have been added to ensure fairness. Characters that have played Season of Strife 3 or more times cannot migrate to realms in their first or second season. I thought we already knew this. Oh, I think maybe it was because they talked about this in a dev feedback or a Q&A, but now they're just kind of making it official. In their first or second Season of Strife playthrough. This change only applies to realms entering Season of Strife after the update. Okay, so they're basically giving you, okay, I guess. I mean, you already have control of who can come into your kingdom or not. Obviously, a lot more now, right? Since they finally put in, which was a great ad, by the way, a pure accept deny system for anyone and everyone that's going to apply. So no more people coming in under the radar. With that in mind, I mean, if people want to now, there's two stances of this. One stance is that if people want to just migrate somewhere and the people there are willing to let them in, maybe so be it. On the second hand, or the other side, is, I mean, what is 1 or 2 seasons of Season of Strife? What is that really going to do? Maybe it does a little bit, because obviously some things you'll have access to once you get to SOS, so that's understandable. And maybe they want to give those players a season or 2 in SOS before you have stronger players coming in that just have already had access to a number of the SOS things for many seasons. Again, I get both sides. I just don't really know. I guess I would have to see some examples of people saying like, well, here's a couple KVKs that were just completely ruined because players were able to come in into a first or second season of a kingdom that's going into SOS for their first or second season, and this is how it went. I guess I would just love to see some examples there. This to me is just a little broad and generalized. 3.5, Darkling Warhorde improvements. After the update, when a Shadow Citadel is destroyed, rewards will be granted not only to Warband members who fought the Shadow Citadels, but also to those who reduced the Citadel's durability. Okay, nice. So you'll get some rewards. It's kind of like, everyone that participates in like a fort raid. But some people just do more damage than the others, right? Or it's like giving, it's like having the, oh God, what is it? The stat, the love for tanks in behemoth raids, right? That like once upon a time, they weren't really getting any love. And then eventually they were getting love and they got their own ranking system and rewards, right? For those. Okay, number 4, combat system improvements. Here we go. Roots of War experience improvements. Added portals and beasts to Roots of War, along with more diverse map content. After the update, you will also be able to deploy war pets. Oh God, here comes the war pets in ROW. Some people were worried. 4.2, Legion deployment improvements. Recommended sorting will be adopted by default. When deploying legions, in the meantime, the logic behind each sorting method has been optimized. Okay. 4.3, Hero talent system improvements. You can now quickly switch heroes in the talent interface to configure their talents. Oh, I mean, talk about some nice quality of life. Down for it. Hero skill description improvements. Added brief detailed toggle to hero skill descriptions, allowing you to switch between brief and detailed descriptions by tapping the button on the skill description page. Okay, more QoE. I'm down for it. Thank you. I mean, who doesn't want to be able to go and get a basic description, or if they want to get the full description of it, if they want more details? I like that. It's kind of like you're giving a condensed and expanded piece of text, depending on what people want, and then it's up to them to choose what they read. 4.5, Shadow Dragon combat improvements. Improve the visual effects of time travel during your battle against the Shadow Dragon. Okay. 4.6, bug fixes. Fixed an issue where War Pet crit rate was incorrect when the garrisoned army contained multiple unit types. Okay. Fixed an issue where auto peacekeeping could be unexpectedly interrupted under certain conditions. Oh, that's rough. Fixed an issue where Legion markers could not be removed in certain conditions. Oh, that sounds nice. Fixed an issue where enacting the policy Bitter End Legion, clones, or shadows summoned via artifact Oath of Stormpeak or Way of Hiso, fighting Phantasm, could instantly defeat severely wounded units. Dude, I heard some people tell me about this, that this was a thing. So that's really nice that they're fixing it. Fixed an issue where rallied army capacity would be calculated incorrectly when launching rallies in Roots of War. When launching a rally against a building in Roots of War, your rallied army capacity is determined by the level of your rally beacon, rally drum, rally harp in your city, but it cannot exceed the garrison capacity of the building you are rallying against. Okay. Nice, let's take it. Number 5. Ooh, alliance improvements. This is a big one. Alliance system improvements. 5.1, new alliance skill, Lifebloom Vault. After the alliance leader or officers cast this skill, the Lifebloom store will be activated in the alliance store. Alliance members can obtain Lifebloom potions and resource items from it. The Lifebloom potion is a new healing item. It instantly increases the amount of elixir stored in the hospital upon acquisition. Oh, wow. Okay. So what, it like allows you to like refill it in a sense? Lifebloom Vault can be cast up to 3 times per alliance each season. And the Lifebloom store can be activated up to 3 times by each player per season. These limits reset at the start of the new season. Wow. So basically just another merit store, but you get resource items and then these potions that are kind of like having an elixir item that just boosts the amount of elixir you have, but they're just calling it something else, along with having a more RSS items. All right. So, I mean, again, it's just like a second store. In this case, maybe a third store, right? Because you have your Alliance shop, your Merit shop, and now you got the Lifebloom store. So you really have like 3 things located within your Alliance store. 5 points. Okay. Again, I don't think anyone maybe should be mad at this if it means you're going to be able to get and maybe have more fighting capacity. 5.2, Alliance skill rule improvements. Reduce the cooldown for lair teleportation from 24 hours to 6 hours. That seems like a win. Adjusted the calculation method for all Alliance skill cooldowns. Previously, cooldown began after the skill duration ended. Now, cooldown begins when the skill is cast by the Alliance. That's nice. So we're getting a little bit more skill usage. Okay. 5.3, Blessings chest level expansion. After the update, opening an Alliance gift will grant you key points and an equal amount of crystal points. When crystal points meet the required amount, the Blessings chest will upgrade. Higher level, oh, buddy, here we go. Higher level chests offer better rewards. The Blessings chest level cap has been increased to level 100. Reaching level 50 requires the same amount of crystal points as the previous key point requirement. Beyond level 50, the required crystal points increase significantly, allowing with substantial improvements to chest quality and rewards. Wow. So they just added another 50 levels to this. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know why it was ever capped. To me, they should just make it to like where it can go up to 1,000, or just make it to where it doesn't end. And then just like on the back end, you scale it up to 1,000, like figure it out up to 1,000 or maybe up to 100. And then each update, you just spend time. You figure out whatever next rewards you want to give. At least that's how I see it, right? I don't think there's any reason why it should be capped. at that point. I would rather have it be something uncapped. Why? Because it also can incentivize more spending. And on top of that, it also incentivizes more people contributing to the blessing chest in your alliance to keep raising it. I mean, it's not to say that people are going to stop doing all of those actions completely for the until the end of time. But why not have that be just another grindy aspect or element that people can get, that people can invest into and contribute towards to get something out of it? But do I think this is nice that they're adding more levels to the cap? Absolutely. At least, again, I don't see any hard downside where we're talking about negative game experience. But would love to know from you guys. 5.4, Legion marker feature improvements. The Legion marker has been added to the Alliance tab in the marker management interface, allowing for easier management of Legion markers. Lovely. Rally feature improvements. Added filtering and sorting options for rallies in the Alliance War interface. You can now organize active rallies by latest, nearest, and shortest prep time. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. These are some nice QOLs, man. Alliance Siege Bastion and Alliance Tower. Oh boy, here we go. When building an Alliance Siege Bastion or Tower, the attack range of the Alliance Siege Bastion or Alliance Siege Tower into which the Alliance Tower will be upgraded will now be displayed, making it easier to manage and construct your building. Okay, that seems like a win. Oh boy, almost at the end. Personal development improvements. New exemplar system. Okay, make a certain number. Oh, dude, this exemplar system. They're just... I mean, let's call it what it is, man. We're adding on another spending element, another spending area to the game. Make a certain number of draws using forged artifact keys to unlock Exemplar Wish. This feature will be available during Season of Strife. Exemplars enhance the attributes of existing artifacts and grant them unique combat capabilities, providing powerful support in battle. Basically, we're looking at war pets to your march, except this is exemplars to your artifacts. War Pet system improvements. You can now purchase skill cards directly from the War Pet skill upgrade interface. Okay. You can now sell skill cards directly from said interface. Equipped War Pets are now protected and cannot be consumed in the skill upgrade interface. Okay. That actually sounds like a win. You can now use surprise fruit boxes and select fruit boxes in the pet feeding interface. Okay, that sounds nice. The probability of acquiring... That felt great. War Pet talent skills when capturing beasts has been increased. Oh, okay. Maybe it's just me, but these all seem like W's. 7 event experience improvements, and then we get to number 8. Alliance mobilization improvements. Completed event quests will now be automatically submitted after a set period of time. Okay, that sounds nice. Added a batch refresh button, allowing Alliance leaders and officers to refresh multiple quests at once. Okay, low quality of life, not mad at it. I guess that beats doing it individually. Added, or if you have more than enough, up to a point where you might consider just doing a full refresh. Added rules for class promotion and relegation. If a group within a class does not have enough alliances, no alliances in that group will be relegated during the event, and they will all remain eligible for promotion. Okay, that seems like a nice little safety net there, because I can only imagine some people probably complained about that. 7.2, Smash the Shadows improvements. Added the auto join rally feature, giving you a chance to automatically join rallies even when offline. Dude, this... I'm dying over here. I guess it depends, like we stated before, on what side of the fence you fall on. Some people, I'm sure, will be very strict on their views for saying, well, if you want to join a rally, you need to be online. It's cut and dry. It's as simple as that. The other side of it is, well, I really want to be able to still help out my alliance, even if I'm not able to be online. But then you auto joining a rally, like what's... And again, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but to me, that almost feels like it's no different than setting up a bot and some kind of automated system and you're not there. At that point, there's not really any difference in my opinion. However, do I at least understand and can comprehend why a feature like this is being considered / added? Yeah, I'm sure it is because some players that would really like to participate in PvP just do not have the time to. But they also don't want to just feel like they're dead weight. And or if some of those kingdoms have certain requirement participations, right, this just gives them a way to at least contribute a little bit more, even if they're not able to be online for a dedicated or set amount of hours. So I get it. However, I am going to say this, which is this to me just feels like it's a little bit of a slippery slope. And that's why I'm a little bit more on the side of I am not in favor of this addition. And I say that because to me it feels like we're getting a little bit too close to that like bot scripting automation area that you often hear people complain about. Yeah, I mean, again, that's just where I'm at. I don't think there's plenty of players out there who, even if they're not able to play for an hour straight or a set amount of time straight, if they get a notification on their phone and it's like a rally join, or maybe they can set, maybe a way to work around this better is if they can set select notifications on specific rallies that they can join. So that way they get the notification, they log in, they click, they join the rally. Maybe that's another part of it when you think about it. Maybe another reason is these people could join the rally, but are they just viewing it as like, man, it's kind of a waste of time for me just to have to like do 4 or 5 actions real quick to join the rally, let it go, and then keep paying attention to my phone. Obviously, not everyone is always going to be in a position where they can look at their phone and or look at it for updates and or look at it in real time the moment a notification hits. So again, like I said, I can understand some of the reasons why something like this would be added. I'm just, part of me feels like I'm going to caution kind of against it because of what I stated. That doesn't mean that I don't think that this update will help and will impact some of those players or those people specifically in a positive way, so it feels like they can still contribute. That's just how I feel. I'd love to know what you guys think. Reward mechanism adjustment. Rewards are now tied to personal damage contribution. If you do not deal any personal damage in your alliance's battles, you will not receive personal or alliance rewards. Ooh. However, you may still join another alliance to participate in rewards. Difficulty adjustment. Shadowfort's defense has been reduced, making it easier to deal higher damage. Okay. Ooh. You guys know me, man. I'm all about other improvements. I always feel like the other improvement area is one that is often underlooked, but sometimes it has some of the best stuff or most interesting. Realm title system improvements. After the update, you can directly apply for titles without waiting for approval from the High King or ministers. I mean, yeah, like I said, you should be able to just auto apply, right? However, I think the High King and ministers need to have advanced or additional management privileges, so that way if they need to set limitations or set something like you can apply, but you cannot reapply and re-get a title within like an hour or something if you're reapplying once, like stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that needs to be permanent. I'm just saying they need to have those kinds of advanced tools and customization privileges on the management side. But yeah, do I think that people should just be able to directly apply and then they can just kind of get positioned where they may if there's any prerequisites or things that need to happen before a set position is given to them? Okay. Once submitted, your application will automatically enter the title's application queue. Streamline the process for the High King administrators to add players to the block list. Players can now be searched and added to the block list directly from the title interface. Thank you, Bazizas or Codzizas. Due to significant changes to the queuing system, all existing applications in the previous queues will be cleared. When the feature goes live, you will need to reapply after the update. I mean, if this is something that they just have to do, they have to do it. Okay, I get it. But yeah, I like how they're also thinking about how to continue optimizing something like this, because this is a great system, and I hope they continue to build upon it. 8.2. City editor improvements added a layout preview feature for city layout. When applying city layouts from different factions, you can now preview how they look when adapted to your current faction. Oh, nice. Early access improvements. Oh, I'm so excited. What does this mean? To enhance your experience, we've added several test features, including auto join rally, chat improvements, additional events, and event optimizations. These features will be made available on a select number of test servers before being officially rolled out. Okay, listen, Lindas, I love the fact that they're doing tests. I do. Now, do I think that they should be doing tests maybe on brand new kingdoms? Maybe it might be a little more beneficial to do it on older kingdoms, ones that are either established, or maybe doing it in kingdoms that are lower powered. Like if you're thinking, okay, what's the least potential negative impact I can have on the game? Well, it probably, like if I'm going to test something out and we're not going to do it on a test server, well, you probably would want to go to like lower powered older kingdoms, ones that are probably like around 5 billion power or less. And I say that because there's not enough people on, like there's activity, but it's not to say that there's overwhelming activity where something is going to be like completely exacerbated and really taken advantage of. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it. But again, we'll see. If it's any indication, we know that they've tested things out on newer kingdoms before as well. Right? When they were initially testing out rallying flags, remember how long that thing lasted? Not that long. So 8.4, new glossary entries. To improve your gaming experience, we've added new glossary entries to the S3 village stories to help clarify world building terms that may be unfamiliar to you. Okay. As always, make sure you guys give feedback, right? Within 5 days, you can get some rewards if you do it within 5 days. Wow. This was a big one. Yeah, I'm at 36 minutes going in. I mean, this thing is jam-packed. There is some exciting stuff in here that I cannot wait until it comes out. I'd love to know, what was the number one thing that stood out to you? What's the number one thing that you're like, I just don't know? Maybe you're iffy on. And what's the number one thing to you that you feel, right? So give me one thing you liked, one thing you're on the fence about, and one thing that maybe you don't like or you are really weary of. Can't wait to read those in the comments below. That's it for us. As always, until next time, we will catch you later.